What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Cosmic Wonder. I'm Warren Thompson, and today, Jonathan Majors was supposed to receive his sentencing. He was found guilty in the trial against his ex-girlfriend Grace Jabari, who claimed he assaulted her and charged several cases of assault against him. He was found guilty of 2 of the 4 cases, and they claimed that he could get up to a year in prison. And today we were supposed to find out his sentencing, however, it got pushed back. It has been delayed. Now, we do have a new sentencing date, and since this has all happened, there have been a lot of articles coming out from legal experts talking about whether or not they think he's going to get jail time or not. And also some articles have come out on whether or not they believe Jonathan Majors can recover from this as an actor, if he can return to Hollywood after being found guilty on counts of third-degree assault and harassment. But Jonathan Majors is fighting back, which is why the sentencing that was supposed to be today has been postponed. So let's dive into this and talk about what it means for the future of Jonathan Majors, whether or not he could return to acting and return to the role of Kang the Conqueror in the Marvel Cinematic Universe at Marvel Studios. So although the sentencing did not happen today and has been pushed back, we now have the new date of when the sentencing is going to take place, according to Deadline. That is going to take place on April 8th. So it's been delayed by 2 months, and there is a reason that it was delayed, and that is because Jonathan Majors and his legal team filed a motion to set aside the verdict, which can be filed under New York law after a conviction, but before sentencing. He filed this on Monday night. So last night, February 5th. So this is essentially Jonathan Majors appealing the decision that found him guilty. A motion to set aside a judgment, which is what Jonathan Majors filed, is an application to overturn or set aside a court's judgment, verdict, or other final ruling in a case. Typically, this motion is proposed by a party who is dissatisfied with the result of a case, which obviously Jonathan Majors is. He was found guilty when he has consistently claimed that he is innocent. Now, this isn't an actual appeal, but it is very similar. And back in the interview that was released by Good Morning America, Jonathan Majors did state that he was indeed going to appeal the court's decision. And the motion to set aside judgment is basically doing that. But what happens if the judge decides to not do that and they decide to issue the sentencing? Well, the district attorney's office has until March 5th to respond to the motion. And according to Deadline.com, Judge Gaffey said today in court that he intends to make a ruling on the defense motion by April 1st, which is April Fool's Day, which is kind of ironic. I doubt he would joke around with his ruling, but still ironic. But that is a week before the actual sentencing. Now, there's some good and bad news when it comes to the future of Jonathan Majors. The good news is it looks like Jonathan Majors won't face any jail time. Most legal analysts and lawyers who have spoken up about this pretty much state that since it's his first conviction, they probably won't give him jail time. Carrie London, a civil rights and criminal defense attorney at Shulman and Hill in Manhattan, said this: "Since it's the defendant's first conviction, although technically he faces 1 year of jail, the judge will 99% give him 3 years probation, anger management, and possibly some community service. Mr. Majors is not getting jail time." So that's good. It is his first conviction, and basically what they decided with the 2 accounts they found him guilty of was reckless assault in the 3rd degree and a harassment in the 2nd degree, which means he did not intend to hurt Grace Jabari. He did so via reckless behavior. So even the court ruled that it's not like Jonathan Majors set out to hurt her, he just did so by accident. But he still hurt her nonetheless, so they found him guilty of the 2 charges. So great news, he probably is not going to jail. He'll have to do a little bit of community service, anger management, and will be on probation. But of course, the big question is, well, what does that mean for his career? Well, there was an article done by the Los Angeles Times talking about all of the deals that he has now lost, including being fired from Disney. We'll go over those in a bit. But they also talk about how he did what they refer to as a terrible job with PR after he was found guilty. Speaking of those ABC News Good Morning America interviews that he did after. They start out by talking about the chair of African and African American Studies department at Duke University, Mark Anthony Neal, about how he said that Jonathan Majors is done and that he knew he was in trouble. They state that, like legions of fans and critics impressed by Majors' muscular performances in The Last Black Man in San Francisco, Creed 3, HBO's Lovecraft Country, and other projects, Neil feared it was a stunning setback for a talented black actor who seemed to be on the brink of breakthrough stardom, and given the long history of racist tropes about black male sexuality in America, he knew the case would be inflected by the fact that Jabari is white. Neil stated, "My immediate response was, he's done. It was a bad look considering not only the culture at large, but also thinking about how black Americans would respond. I felt it would be difficult for him to navigate the situation." They then state the aftermath of what has happened since Jonathan Majors was accused of this and since he has been found guilty. They state, "In the aftermath of his arrest, Majors had already suffered serious career damage, losing his management and public relations firm as well as ad campaigns with the U.S. Army and the Texas Rangers baseball team. But the fallout after a New York jury in December found him guilty on 2 of 4 counts was particularly swift and brutal. Disney fired Majors from his role as supervillain Kang the Conqueror in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He was cut from a film about basketball star Dennis Rodman, and magazine Dreams, which had sparked early Oscar buzz for Majors after it premiered at the 2023 Sundance Film Festival, is in limbo after being dropped by distributor Searchlight Pictures. And the chair of the African and African American Studies Department at Duke University, Mark Anthony Neal, and others say it's the actor's post-conviction behavior that hurt him the most, casting doubts on his ability to repair his reputation once his legal troubles are behind him. Nathan Miller, the founder and CEO of Miller Inc., a Los Angeles-based strategic communications and crisis management firm, stated, "Jonathan made a bad situation worse. One PR failure after another." When talking about the Good Morning America interview, they talked about when he was asked about how Jabari's injuries happened, in which he replied with, "I wish to God I knew." Miller stated that interview tremendously undercut his credibility. "There's ways of denying you committed physical assault, but also acknowledging the complexities of the situation that shows responsibility. The public doesn't like it when they think someone is being evasive and makes themselves a victim." Then veteran entertainment manager and publicist Ramon Hervey II stated, "That interview was a really bad mistake. It was irrelevant because he was already convicted. It was also ill-timed. It was not going to change the public perception of him at a time he really needed to be away from the media and await his sentencing." The article even goes on to state that some people think that his current girlfriend, actor Megan Good, is simply for show. During a segment of the Two Black Girls, One Rose pop culture podcast, Natasha Scott Rachel declared that this is such a farce, referring to Jonathan Majors and Megan Good's relationship and the fact that she was always there by his side in court and in the interview, and he specifically mentioned her in the interview. Speculation swirled around them, with people suggesting that the relationship was a setup to boost support for Majors among black fans. And again, Mark Anthony Neal said, the chair of the African and African American Studies Department at Duke University, I quote, "There was clearly a team of fixers trying to get him past this situation with the black community. He seems to be a black actor who was not particularly interested in black women," end quote. So unfortunately right now it seems like there is a lot going against Jonathan Majors as far as the public opinion is concerned, but I would love to hear your thoughts about this. What do you think about Jonathan Majors at this point in time? In the Good Morning America interview, Jonathan Majors said that he wants to return as an actor to Hollywood, of course, and that he hopes people will give him a second chance. He most likely is not going to get any jail time at all, which is a good thing, but would Hollywood rehire him after some time passes by? Time heals all, but what would everybody think about that? Please leave your thoughts and comments about this in the comment section down below. To stay up to date on this situation, but mostly the Marvel Cinematic Universe, be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any of the latest videos. We are also giving away a PS5, an Xbox Series X, some Marvel Legends items, and some DC items. To enter, all you have to do is subscribe and leave a comment down below. We pick one winner at the end of every single month, and the winner picks one item. You can find us on Instagram and Twitter, and as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.